I predict that this GV60 will suit my life reasonably well. I predict that I won't lose too many miles of range, especially during winter time. I predict that my husband won't complain about my driving because it's incredibly comfortable. I also predict it will be the perfect size for my doggos.
Okay, everybody in? You in? Hey.
7,000 miles later.
So here we are then, 5 months later, and do you know what? Mystic Nic predicted that this thing would suit my life reasonably well. And do you know what? It does. This is the Genesis GV60 rear-wheel drive single motor 77.4 kilowatt hour battery. Normally, this starts at around £53,000, but we've got a couple of packs added on. We've got the innovation pack, it's got vehicle to load, it's got a B&O sound system. So this particular car is £61,115, which I know is a lot of money, but is it worth it? I think it is. There are so many party tricks within this thing. I'll show you the first one. Right, hold on. So the key, if I can find the key in my pocket, there it is, has the classic thing that most Korean cars can do. So we're going to lock the car like that, and then you hold down the hold button like that. Oh no, I've opened the boot. I'd have to moan about the key first of all, because the key is exactly the same on both sides and I keep pressing the wrong side. Let me close the boot. There's a hold button there. Hold down the hold button, move it backwards and forwards into very tight parking spaces. Look at this. Go on. Yes. Which I'll be honest, I didn't think I would ever use that feature, but in the last 5 months, I've actually used it a good, I'd say 4 times, where I've been stuck in a really tight parking space and then I can't get in the car. And then I'm stood there all smug going, oh, look at this. And then people are standing around filming me. That's a good party trick. Good party trick, annoying keys. Another party trick down the side, which, can I say, is a very nice design, by the way. So on this version, I've got the 19-inch wheels and the design of the actual car is lovely. Although I do have to say, do you reckon that this part of the car was designed in a rush during hay fever season?
Anyway, we digress. Do you want another party trick? Party trick! So, this charge flap, if you open it up and then charge your car and then accidentally forget to close it, like I have quite a few times, and then you go to drive off, it will close itself. Yeah, it's very clever.
Round the back, I have another annoyance. There's no rear wiper, which seems to become a thing now, doesn't it, with electric cars, not to have a rear wiper, which I didn't think would bug me, but it does bug me, especially on days like today, where we really do need a rear wiper. This bit under here as well is a window under there. Should we have a look in the boot while we're here? All right then, okay. In the boot, got a lot of my stuff, which I probably should have cleaned the car before we filmed with it, but this is, you know, I'm living with this car. This is my car at the moment, so this is how I live my life. So yes, there are coat hangers and a coat and my wellies in there. The reason my wellies are in there is because there's no space underneath the boot floor for your wellies. So underneath here is just your charging cables and things to look after the car, like your puncture kits and all that kind of stuff. Not enough space for my wellies, and I walk my dogs all the time, and I need to have space for my wellies, which I know what you're thinking. Put it in the front. Yes, which there is a front. But that's just a bit of a pain, isn't it? Let's take this car for a spin, shall we? And honestly, it's a very pleasant spin. I have really, really grown to love this car. It's so nice to drive. And do you know what? Even the couple of weeks or the couple of goes that my husband's been driving it, he's also fallen in love with it. Why? Because it's silent. Listen to that. I mean, you can maybe hear the puddles outside, but that's a very, very quiet electric car. So obviously we have the different drive modes. So we have comfort mode, which is mostly what I've been driving this car in. And then you have sport mode, which you press the button on the steering wheel and boom, sport mode, everything turns red. And then the seat sort of hugs you a little bit. So you kind of get like a little wrap around your waist to hold you in place, which I also hear happens when you go over 80 miles an hour. I've just heard that from friends who are now in prison.
Yeah, of course, we also have eco mode, which makes the most out of your range, but I've been mostly sitting in comfort mode. And you know what? It's been reasonably efficient. I would say most days, on a warm day especially, I've been getting around 3.8, 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour. And then on a big motorway day where I really put my foot down, I've been getting around 3 to 3.1, which, let's be honest, is to be expected in an electric car. In terms of range, I'd say 321 miles is spot on, actually.
Which is pretty decent, isn't it? And in summer, yeah, I was getting that. And actually, you know, I predicted earlier that you won't actually lose any range when it comes to winter time. It hasn't been bad. It's been... Actually, I think you'll find that you lost 100 miles during the winter months. It should do 321, whereas during winter, you got 220. Okay, fine. Yes, so we've lost like 100 miles, but on average, an electric car over winter time will lose about 21% of its range. So that's not too shabby, is it? Really? Of course, we have the party tricks. Party tricks. So we have smart headlights, which is one of my favourite things whenever you're driving at night. You put on the full beams and then it will dip them whenever cars are coming along, and you see it dip and then build back up again, which I find very satisfying. It has full one-pedal driving, which here at electrifying.com we are big fans of. Another party trick. Party trick. So in here you have air purification, right, which is part of the innovation pack. Very clever, this. So down here there is a sign that says good, which means that the air quality in here is good. But say if, I don't know, your passenger is a smoker, or you accidentally let off some interesting smelling air, maybe, you'll see the quality of the air go from good to not good to poor to very poor. Yeah, and actually as you approach a tunnel, it will then switch everything off from the outside and just circulate the air from the inside, so you're not having to breathe in any fumes from a dirty diesel that's driving in front of you in a tunnel. How clever is that? This is the facial recognition part. So what it can do, party trick, what it can do is it will recognise your face, so you don't actually have to travel with your keys all the time. But I will be honest, it's not really worked for me. That we tried. As soon as the car arrived, we set it to my face, it said that it worked, and by the next time I stood next to the car, I stood there for so long like this, trying to see if it, and it's never worked. It's never worked. But it's a nice gimmick though, isn't it? Welcome to the interior of the Genesis GV60. Party trick! It's my favourite one. Switch it on. Ah, that's the party trick that everyone talks about. That's the one that made the headlines, that everyone's like, oh, has it got the crystal ball thing? Yes. Yes, it does. Do I love it? Yes. Yes, I do. We also have this. Now, this is the passcode and fingerprint recognition. But it basically means that I have full access to my settings that I have in here. So it's all set up for me. We've got the memory seats set in place. We have all of the menus that are ready to use. This car in here is a button and knob lover's dream, because there are buttons and knobs for everything. All down here, these are your climate controls. It's all knobs and buttons. So instead of having to use the touch screen all the time and having to lean forward and tap everything, you can access everything through the click wheel. It's very BMW. They've obviously nicked a bit of the design from there. So you can scroll things and then you can click on things. Then you've got the buttons down here for your heated and your aerated seats, for your heated steering, etc. You can turn on your cameras like so, that button there. It's got these are all in Korean cars, but you can have a good look around the car. Can I also give a shout out to me? Because originally this car on this screen was white and that annoyed me. So I changed it to red so it actually matches my actual car. So it's wired CarPlay only. This has annoyed me a little bit. So I always have to plug it in. There we go, there's CarPlay. Which, as someone who uses CarPlay all the time, I just find that quite irritating.
Yes, everything inside this interior is very plush. You can definitely see where your money has gone. Everything looks and feels delicious, including all the materials on the door, this hovering center console, this glove drawer that's not a glove box, it's a glove drawer. It's very nice, isn't it? Oh, party trick! You can move the passenger seat forwards and backwards from the driver position, which is so handy, isn't it? If you need to move things back and forth for your passenger. Love that.
We have the optional B&O sound system. Party tricks! So, there is a warning that tells you if you've turned the car off and you've left a window open. Rear right window open. Right, back seats. Now, okay, normally this is where my dogs are, but what they don't realise is that we do have rear heated seats. But I do have to say, it's quite dark back here. But it is very roomy. Oh, party trick. Keep out the riffraff. Love that. And then you've got loads of space in here for all of your snacks and all of your things in here. Look at the size of that. That is massive, isn't it? And then you've got a couple of USB-C charge ports there. You can put some stuff in here. And I have to say, even though these are like the entry-level trim seats, this kind of has like a denim vibe, which is quite nice on the top, isn't it? The massaging seats in this thing is slightly different to regular massaging seats. This also does, if I press the button down here, your pelvis, which I like to call the bum punch. So basically it's like gently punching my bum cheeks. It's the only way for me to explain it. Driving position is fantastic. I mean, you've got the head-up display that's included. Everything down here is all nice and easy to read. Everything on the steering wheel is customizable. And then you can also chop and change things on the screen in front of you. And then this opens up a camera at the front of the car and it's like augmented reality sat-nav, which is so satisfying to look at because you can see all the cars. The quality of the camera is also really good, even considering it's raining and disgusting outside. The quality is very impressive. This is lazy driving at its absolute finest. I predict that if you'd like to know more information about the Genesis GV60, that you will go onto the Electrifying YouTube channel. If you'd like to see another long-term video, maybe you would click up here, where you will see Tom Barnard's lovely review of his long-term Nissan Ariya. Or if you want something more similar to the Genesis GV60, you will click up here to where there's another video that you can watch. Good? Yeah, good. I just want to say, I really like this car, and I'm a bit gutted that I've got to give it back. It's a really lovely thing and it's suited my life so beautifully. Farewell.